years ago, I got to go on holiday to France. Went with some friends and we stayed in a really nice villa. One of the days we decided that we were going to go and visit this big city. So we got in the car, and when we arrived, we went and parked in this massive multi-storey car park. It had about 20 levels and thousands of cars. We went out for the day, had some really nice French food, and then we decided that we were going to go home. So we went and got back in the car and drove out the car parking space, and then hit just a massive queue of cars trying to get out of this multi-storey car park. There were horns honking, there were people shouting. So I decided to get out of the car and to find out what was going on. So I got out and I followed the line of traffic back as far as I could. And then all of a sudden, the traffic started moving. So I thought, I need to go and get back in the car. So I turned around, followed the traffic back, but couldn't find the car. I couldn't see our car anywhere. I couldn't see anything that looked familiar. So I started to panic. I started running all over the place, up and down the stairwells. I started sweating and I started to cry. I didn't know what to do. I felt incredibly lost and alone. I didn't even have my phone because I'd left it in the car. So in the end, after I got myself together, I decided that I was going to go to the exit of the car park. And sure enough, when I got there was my car waiting for me with a huge line of cars waiting behind it. When we find ourselves in unexpected places, a bit like we might find ourselves now, we can often feel scared, we can feel panicked, we can feel lonely, and we don't often know how to manage that situation in the best way. Well, first of all, what we want to encourage you to do is, if you're feeling like you're not living very well, you don't feel like you're healthiest, you're struggling with something, please go and talk to someone that you trust. Maybe that's somebody that you're living at home with at the moment. Or perhaps you can get in contact with a youth worker if you go to a youth group, or a church leader if you go to a church. Or there are lots of helplines that you can phone. If you Google the Samaritans or the NSPCC or Childline, there's numbers that you can call if you need help to work out how you can live well at this moment. Now, there's some really great advice in the Bible for when we find ourselves in unexpected places. There's this guy named Solomon, and he was really, really wise, and he said this: trust God. Don't try to figure out everything on your own. Listen for God's voice in everything you do, everywhere you go. He's the one who will keep you on track. Don't assume that you know it all. Run to God. Run from evil. Your body will glow with health. Your very bones will vibrate with life. So Solomon gives us this advice that if we want to live well, if we want to be at our healthiest and our best, then the best thing that we could do is to listen to God and trust him, because he knows best. So how do we do that? Well, we've got a little activity that you could try out now. So you'll need to find one of these, a balloon. So maybe you've got one lying around your house. If not, then maybe you could contact your youth worker if you're from a youth group, because I'm sure that they have got lots of balloons lying around. If you don't have a balloon, maybe you could grab a paper bag or a sock. I tried it with a sock, but it didn't quite work. But, get inventive. Find something that you can blow up. And you also need a pen. And so we want you to find a comfortable spot. So that might be your bed. It might be somewhere in the garden, nice and chilled out. Just a space where you're not distracted by some other things. And then just spend a few moments breathing deeply. Breathing deeply can really help when we're feeling anxious or panicked or worried. So to breathe deeply, all you need to do is breathe in through your nose slowly and then out through your mouth slowly. So practice that a few times. You might want to shut your eyes as well. Then have a go at breathing deeply but saying these words. Take a breath in, and as you breathe out through your mouth, say the word God. And as you breathe in through your nose, in your head, think the word speak. And do that a few times, giving yourself some space to listen to God. Then grab your balloon and do exactly the same thing. As you breathe into the balloon, say the word God, and as you breathe back in through your nose, think the word speak. And just spend some time really focusing on God and listening to what he might have to say to you. So when you finish blowing up your balloon, tie a knot in it. And then if there are some things that you felt that God might be saying to you, write them on the balloon. Maybe it's something that he wants to remind you of. Maybe it's something that you could do to spend with your time. But write them on the balloon or the paper bag. But keep it somewhere so that you can be reminded to trust God, that he is with you, and that you do not need to do this time on your own.